The Blobs. Grumbly green. Grumbly green in. Hats off for Grumbly. The grumbliest blob in Paintbox Land was Grumbly Green. Today he was feeling extra grumbly because the sun was beating down and he didn't have a sun hat. He went to Fizzy Orange's hat shop to buy one. Now, as you can see, Grumbly's head was an odd shape. A very odd shape indeed. It was sort of long and pointy. The first hat he tried was too small. The second was too tight. It was so tight he thought he would never get it off.
I don't like where I'm going, I don't like where I've been. I'm moany, groany, leave me aloney, mumbly, grumbly, green,
sang Grumbly angrily.
"Here you are, sir. This is a much bigger hat,"
said Fizzy, dropping a huge cowboy hat on Grumbly's head. But the hat covered more than Grumbly's head. It covered all of him.
This is much too big. I can't see where I'm going, and I can't see where I've been,
grumbled Grumbly.
"No problem. Let me help you,"
said Fizzy. He pulled the hat off so suddenly that Grumbly hit the ground with a thwack and an oof. Grumbly tried on lots of hats. There were small hats and tall hats, round hats and square hats, flat caps and sailor hats. In fact, he tried on every hat in Fizzy's shop, but nothing fitted. Grumbly's head was just the wrong shape for hats. It was far too pointy. Grumbly left the shop and walked along all moany and groany. The sun got hotter and Grumbly got hotter and hotter. Then he saw a marvellous sight. A row of traffic cones.
hats,
said Grumbly.
hats, and they're all my size.
He picked one up and popped it on his head. But as soon as Grumbly put the traffic cone on, Constable Blue, the police blob, arrived.
"Don't you know that a red and white cone is a traffic warning?"
he said.
"You must never move cones. You might cause an accident."
I'm sorry, officer,
said Grumbly, taking off his wonderful new hat. Grumbly walked through the park. Then, vroom, vroom, along came a witch on a broom. It was inky black.
"What's the matter, Grumbly?"
she called.
I need a sun hat,
Said Grumbly.
"Broomsticks and bats. Try one of my hats,"
Said Inky.
Thank you, Inky. You're not as black as they paint you after all,
Said Grumbly, as the witch's hat dropped onto his head. But Inky wasn't being kind. She was being mischievous. She pulled out her magic wand and waved it.
"While Grumbly wears my witch's hat, he'll be chased by black blob cats,"
she chanted. In a flash, 5 black cats appeared and began to run after Grumbly.
Oh no,
He grumbled.
they all think I'm a witch. Go away, leave me alone.
But the cats chased Grumbly uphill, down dale, and all over Paintbox Land. Grumbly had to get rid of his lovely new hat just to get rid of the pesky cats. The cats were very disappointed.
Oh, no! He isn't a witch after all!
One meowed.
He was just pretending! What a swizz! Typical!
Grumbly thought he was the unluckiest blob in the whole of Paintbox Land. But he wasn't. Flowery White, the baker, was much more unlucky. As Grumbly passed the baker's shop, there was a loud bang, and clouds of flour blew out of the shop. This was followed by a shower of nuts and bolts. Then some springs came bouncing out of the doorway and off down the street. Boing, boing, boing.
Oh, whatever is going on?
Cried Grumbly as a spring bounced past him.
That nearly hit me on the nose. Or was it my toes? I could have been hurt. Who's being so careless with their springs and things?
Grumbly peered into the shop. Flowery White was sitting on the floor looking dazed.
I'm Flowery the baker. I'm white from toe to top. From making bread and pizza in my Flowery baker's shop,
sang Flowery sadly.
What's up, Flowery?
Asked Grumbly.
Are you all right?
No, I'm not,
replied Flowery, rubbing his head.
My donut machine is broken.
He led Grumbly into the bakery, where huge piles of doughnuts reached up to the roof.
What a disaster!
Cried Grumbly.
It is,
agreed Flowery. He looked at Grumbly, then he looked at the doughnuts, then he looked at Grumbly again.
Wait a minute,
said Flowery.
Your pointed head could help.
Are you sure?
Asked Grumbly.
Pointed heads are no good for anything, especially hats.
But Grumbly was wrong. His pointed head was perfect for making the holes in doughnuts. Soon every doughnut had a hole.
Thanks, Grumbly,
said Flowery.
Is there anything I can do for you?
You don't happen to have a spare hat, do you?
Asked Grumbly.
One that would fit a pointy head.
No, I don't. But I might be able to help you just the same,
said Flowery. The baker chose 3 doughnuts from the pile.
Alley-oop, alley-oop, alley-oop,
cried Flowery as he threw the doughnuts onto Grumbly's head. They made a perfect hat.
Thank you, Flowery,
said Grumbly. For once, Grumbly wasn't grumbling. In fact, he was grinning from ear to ear. Grumbly was so happy with his new sun hat, he danced and skipped and danced until he was tired and hot and hungry. But that was no problem. He had a snack on hand, or rather on his head, and Grumbly's special hat was delicious.
Yum, 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 yum,
he said as he munched the doughnuts one by one. And Grumbly wasn't grumbly any more, because he knew he could always buy another hat at Flowery White's bakery tomorrow. Thank you for listening.